The following is a college course based on the textbooks Marketing and Marketing the Core, written by Karen Berkowitz Hartley and Rodelius, and published by McGraw-Hill Irwin Publishers.
What did ducks in China have to do with a designer sofa in this upscale furniture store? This showroom is the last in a series of firms that have worked together to produce and deliver this product to consumers. The materials that went into making this sofa have gone through many hands and processes. Each firm and procedure is one link in a chain that transforms different raw materials into a finished product ready to be enjoyed by the consumer. The distribution of goods and services involves one of the primary elements of the marketing mix, place, which is the means of getting a product into the consumer's hands. Pacific Coast Feather Cushion Company and its partner company, Pacific Coast Feather, are part of a supply chain, which is a series of firms that work together to produce and deliver goods to customers. In this case, they organize the flow of raw material, duck feathers and down, which are a natural byproduct of raising ducks for human consumption in China, and eventually turn that material into cushions for high-end furniture.
We are the largest manufacturer of feather and down cushioning in the United States. Our feathers, which we process here in Los Angeles as well as in Marysville, Washington, are washed in accordance to our HyperClean requirements. Which is to say they're rinsed over 8 times, and in so doing, they become hypoallergenic. We've also created a type of construction whereby we are able to take and make a formally very high-end product obtainable by manufacturers who are selling to mass merchants.
Pacific Coast Feather Cushion Company, or PCFCC, designs and manufactures natural fill cushions, backs, and throw pillows for the furniture industry. They do this in close relationship with their partner company, Pacific Coast Feather, which supplies the finished down and feathers and also manufactures pillows and comforters.
Aside from having that equity partnership with them, we have been able to relate synergistically in terms of branding, recognition of logo. Pacific Coast Feather, are one of the largest bedding manufacturers in the United States, providing down-filled pillows and feather beds and comforters to retailers from QVC to Linens and Things.
The two companies are close partners in the supply chain and work together to fill a special need in the furniture manufacturing industry.
Our product's unique in a couple ways. One is we try and create products specifically for a manufacturer's needs. We call this signature seating, so that a manufacturer has an exclusive cushioning option to their furniture. In addition, we use only proprietary materials, which do create some differentiation in the marketplace to other feather and down cushions.
Our business is one of mass customization, where we design, engineer, and produce custom products on a mass basis. The main challenge that we face is that we have 3 facilities across the country that are all essentially decentralized. They operate independent. So our challenge in that we operate a custom business, or mass customization, is to keep our facilities running with the materials they need for our customers.
Supplying materials to producers is one of the vital functions of the supply chain. For this to work effectively, managers must focus on logistics. Logistics are those activities that make sure the right amount of product reaches the right place exactly when it's needed and at the lowest possible cost. Logistics management involves the cost-effective flow of raw materials, in-process inventory, finished goods, and related information from its point of origin to the consumer. While logistics management involves the actual movement of the product, Supply chain management is the integration and organization of information and logistics activities across firms in a supply chain. It oversees the entire process of creating and delivering goods and services to consumers. The supply chain manager works with the logistics manager to get the inventory where it needs to be, on time, and most cost-effectively. To do this, they use information technology that enables companies to share systems for order processing, transportation scheduling, and inventory and facilities management.
We monitor our own logistics in conjunction with not only our vendors, but also import brokers. We do that with our SAP R3 system. It's called an ERP system, or Enterprise Resource Planning. And what that is a suite of applications that integrates not only the financials, but the production as well as the supply chain needs into one cohesive, integrated system.
In this case, the supply chain for high-end down-filled furniture starts in the People's Republic of China.
Approximately 85% of the feathers provided for our type of manufacturing come out of China, and pretty much provides us with a uniform commercial grade type feather. The rest of it is coming out of Eastern Europe.
The feathers are shipped to a processing facility where they are cleaned and purified.
The feathers in their original state are sent from China to Marysville, Washington. What they'll do initially is wash the entire original stock. After washing, the feather is then put through a sorting process. It's then baled for us or packaged and sent to us in Los Angeles.
After the feathers go through the purification process, Pacific Coast Feather, PCF, ships it to the partner company, PCFCC, and to other manufacturers. There, the feathers are used to create cushions for sofas, as well as a variety of other products. PCFCC keeps its supply chain manageable by the company's close proximity to several different furniture manufacturing areas.
Our 5-year plan called for expansion throughout the Southeast, both in Mississippi and in High Point, North Carolina, each of which was a major furniture center.
One manufacturer that PCFCC supplies its finished cushions to is Hyatt Furniture.
Hyatt Furniture was started approximately 56 years ago. We've been in the same location in LA for that whole time. We've stayed here, and we do all of our production here at this facility. What we do with Pacific Coast Feather is we purchase the down and feather cushions that go into our furniture. So it'll be the seat cushions, the back cushions, and the arm pillows.
Supply chains can be quite complex. In this case, duck farmers in China supply unprocessed feathers to PCF, which processes them and supplies the raw materials to PCFCC, which in turn produces cushions and pillows. These are supplied to producers such as Hyatt Furniture, which manufacture finished goods that are distributed to retailers, and finally to the consumer. Tracking and managing processes like these require considerable planning and diligence.
Managing our supply lines begin really with the procurement of our raw materials. And we do that by continually reviewing our needs. First, we start with our forecasts. We then compare that to historical data, and finally we take 2-week averages. And then we go back to our suppliers, order our product in a true just-in-time basis. Our needs are therefore met by frequent deliveries and on-time service.
It's important that that whole supply chain be connected, hardwired, so that we can reduce the time in between when a customer orders a custom piece of furniture and when we deliver. Our supply chain will hold inventory for us for up to 4 weeks. We give them projections 6 months out, and as we need goods on a short-term basis, they can ship us those goods.
The main objective of logistics management is to satisfy customer needs and at the same time minimize logistics cost. Total logistics cost includes all those expenses associated with transporting, handling, and storing materials and finished goods, including inventory management, processing orders, and handling returned goods.
Our total logistics costs are the procurement, the handling, storage, and inventorying of our raw materials as well as our finished goods. We handle that in a number of ways. First and foremost, we handle it by our model, which is one of mass customization. By definition, we don't have a great deal of finished goods on hand. Order is made custom to order and then shipped within 4 days or less.
We have real good relationships with our customers. We primarily are their OEM, original equipment manufacturer. And because of that, we work real close in them providing inventory or suggested inventory levels that they would like to keep. Part of this program is we do a large amount of drop shipping, which means we ship directly to the customer's house so that our retailer never touches the product. And as part of that, they provide us projections. We build off of those projections, which means we can order out all the materials that it takes to build the product. There are special orders also that come in off of those projections. Those special orders would be like a Pacific Coast Feather, where we order it based on production schedules.
Most businesses use different technologies to relay and track information in a supply chain. This is especially important during the ordering process.
There's 2 ways that we get orders. The first way is when we run a production schedule, our system prints out quantities and part numbers. And another way is when our customers order special parts, we fax those lists to PCFCC, and they in turn deliver the orders within 4 days.
We'll receive an order either electronically or via fax and enter it into our SAP R3 system. From there, it goes to our design and engineering group and determines the specs for the product. They create a CAD file, and that CAD file goes to our automatic cutting equipment on our production floor. From there, it goes to our sewing department, and finally to our filling department where the right fill is inserted in the product. From there, it goes to our packing department and out the door.
Tracking the product once it's shipped is an important part of logistics management. For instance, the title or legal ownership of the product must be established in case the product is damaged, destroyed, or lost in transit.
We take title to our goods as soon as they're shipped. The problem with that is that we may not have possession of it, we have financial responsibility for those goods, so we don't have use of it. That can dramatically increase our costs if there is a shipping delay, if there's problems with the docks.
Being able to anticipate potential problems and handle them ahead of time requires all companies in the supply chain to routinely share information, often by electronic data interchange or EDI.
For us, the partnership approach, both with vendors and customers, is critical. Primarily, our interaction is electronic, whether it's purchase orders or invoicing. We are also in the phase of developing a web-based order entry system. Secondly, we have EDI capabilities with our R3 system. So where possible, we certainly try to communicate electronically or via the internet with our vendors and our customers.
We are a very internet-based company. We use the internet to download our orders from our customers so that we get those into our system within 24 hours. We can also track those orders and make cancellations if need be. We also use the internet to schedule our shipping trucks, and we are constantly using email to communicate and keep in touch with our customers.
To improve logistics management and minimize costs, managers must track each step in the supply and distribution process.
We monitor the delivery of our product in the most cost-effective management by starting first with aggregate budgets. They're done monthly and apply to each individual facility. Secondly, we focus on performance metrics that boil down to each individual process in our entire chain of events, from the receipt of order all the way through shipping.
Ultimately, logistics and supply chain management benefit the consumer by getting products where they're needed, when they're needed, while keeping costs down.
Our supply chain is efficient and responsive. It has to be. In a custom environment, we have to be very responsive. We try as a company to be an innovator, to be a leader in what we do. Therefore, we have to respond in short notice, again, in 4 days or less to our customers' need. Efficiently simply means profitability. We need to be able to do that in a profitable manner. We try and do both.
Along with its role in a supply chain, Pacific Coast Feather Cushion Company also functions in a marketing channel of distribution, or marketing channel for short. This includes those firms involved in making a finished product available to consumers. While the supply chain represents the flow of material and goods from the supplier to the consumer, the marketing channel focuses on distribution from the producer to the consumer and is only part of the supply chain. Deciding on the right marketing channels to use is critical to business success.
At Hyatt Furniture, we have a little bit different marketing philosophy on how we go to look for new customers. A lot of times we've gone out and find new companies that have a great idea that may not be in furniture yet. And we will develop furniture for them that will fit whatever product category that they're selling. A good example of that would be kids' furniture, and we developed a rocker for it, a full-size rocker that they use. It's a good way to get in with a large store and have a unique product and grow with that company as they grow.
Some producers use a direct channel, where the product is sold directly to the consumer. An example of this would be an independent furniture maker with his own shop. However, most producers reach their customers through an indirect channel that uses one or more intermediaries. Intermediaries facilitate the flow of finished goods from producers to customers and can include any combination of agents, brokers, wholesalers, and retailers. For instance, Hyatt Furniture uses indirect channels to reach its consumers. Intermediaries can make selling goods more efficient because they minimize the number of sales contacts needed for a producer to reach a target market. Likewise, in most instances, it's more efficient for consumers to buy from a retailer, such as a home furnishing store, than from the manufacturer, which may be in another state or country. An example would be having to travel across the country to buy the right sofa for your home, instead of just heading downtown to a department store. While there is an increase in price every time a good passes from one organization to another in the marketing channel, it is still less expensive and more convenient for the consumer than traveling to the manufacturer. And it is also more efficient for the manufacturer to work with intermediaries instead of individual customers.
1083.
Intermediaries can often perform functions more efficiently than the manufacturer. When required, intermediaries can provide logistical help, such as gathering, storing, and dispersing products, as well as channel information. Having the goods and services you want, when you want them, where you want them, and in the form you want them, is the efficiency created by marketing channels. Another example of a marketing channel would be how Pacific Coast Feather markets its pillows and comforters. Because these are different product lines, the company can do this without competing against the furniture manufacturers that PCFCC sells cushions to. This also helps PCFCC market its product.
We additionally have been, again, through the branding recognition and the logo recognition of our equity partners, Pacific Coast Feather, been able to help pull certain customers through at retail, where we'll actually go directly to a retailer to sell our product in terms of its virtues and its profitability. And by so doing, have them and us hook up with a manufacturer that would be suitable for their requirements. And this has really differentiated ourselves in terms of the marketing aspects of the company.
The marketing channel for Pacific Coast Feather begins with PCF as the producer, which sells its finished products, pillows, and comforters to various retailers, which in turn sell these products to consumers.
Our marketing story really revolves around market-driven differentiation. We don't try and be all things to all people like many of our competitors. And through that, we've really created an expertise in a niche business.
When choosing a marketing channel for consumer products, managers must also consider the degree of distribution density, or the number of stores that will carry their product in any given geographical area. These degrees are described as intensive, when a firm tries to place its product in as many stores as possible; exclusive, the opposite of intensive, typically used for specialty items; or selective, which is somewhere between the two extremes and the most common form of distribution. For example, PCF chose selective distribution for its comforters and pillows by targeting a limited number of retail outlets. Businesses must also link their supply chain to their marketing strategy. Ultimately, the supply chain must support the overall goals of the organization and serve the customer's needs, which means having the right amount of product at the right place, at the right time, and at the right price. Though these goals are important, they're not the only things marketers consider when serving their customers.
Even though we're a business-to-business company, Pacific Coast Feather prides themselves on not having a supplier mentality. We like to build a partnership with our customer and really understand their needs. If it's shipping, distribution, product, but most importantly, we like to work on product development with them, creating a product specifically for their need.
We're constantly working with our retailers and customers to improve the way that we do and process everything here. In the past, we've worked on, for example, improving the way that we do our packaging, and in turn, we now have less than 0.5% damage rate. And again, anything that we can improve for them, we feel that if they succeed, we succeed. So it's an ongoing process.
Meeting customer demands is part of any firm's successful marketing strategy. Managing the marketing channel assures that it will be responsive and efficient in meeting customer expectations. The objective of logistics management in a supply chain is to minimize the cost while still providing good customer service. This is sometimes a balancing act.
At Pacific Coast, marketing and logistics work very closely together because we understand that one hand feeds the other and makes for a very smooth transition as far as moving product to the customer. Most important thing is to understand the customer's needs. Then we sit down with our logistics team and describe what our customer is looking for and how to implement it. Most of the time we can, but when we cannot, we go back and tell the customer what our issues are going to be up front so that they have an understanding and don't have an unrealistic expectation about what we can do.
Sometimes problems or channel conflict can occur between sellers and buyers at all levels of the marketing channel. Channel conflict can occur in many different ways. For example, between two distributors who are in direct competition with each other and have territorial issues. Other conflicts can happen when a producer decides to sell direct to retailers or disagreements arise over profit distribution, or when a manufacturer thinks its products are not getting enough attention from wholesalers or retailers. Sometimes this conflict can occur between retail outlets. For example, if a manufacturer decides to place its product in two stores that are in direct competition with each other, one retailer might demand exclusive rights to carry that product. Most types of channel conflicts can be resolved or avoided by good communication.
We're very aware that some conflicts can arise between our manufacturers because they, in many cases, are direct competitors. And that's really why we developed Signature Seating, so that even though they're running a feather and down cushion in their product, they're able, through differentiation, to market a different story.
Managers can also avoid channel conflicts by understanding each of their customers' individual requirements while effectively managing logistics.
I think the key is really understanding the customer's needs. If you understand that the customer requires a quick turn, there's many things that you can do to provide that turn without hurting your logistics. Oftentimes customers will talk about just-in-time delivery. We train them that that doesn't mean just-in-time ordering.
One of the great things about our supply chain is we have retailers that are progressive enough to have all of their orders put into websites, which we download into our system, which we no longer have to do order entry. And our goal is to get that through our whole supply chain management. Currently, as orders come in and we may have special orders, our systems will produce and give out what those quantities are for the special orders, which we turn around and order from our vendors.
Educating customers and building partnerships is part of the marketing formula that has made Pacific Coast Feather Cushion Company a success.
Since we began, we have experienced double-digit growth each and every year, and we anticipate continuing so, primarily through a number of roads. One being, we continue to expand our customer base. And again, we're not cannibalizing any existing business. Our growth is by virtue of new business, which leaves, in terms of furniture, a $100 billion industry for us. So in terms of the actual sales growth in this country, for us, it's fairly unlimited.
Pacific Coast Feather Cushion Company and its partner company, Pacific Coast Feather, expect continued growth in the future through sound supply chain and logistics management.
We have created a very profound foundation of supply for our product line. We began developing trade with China in 1973, where we set up a distribution and collection of feathers, augmented technology for them in terms of processing of feathers, set up factories for sewing, and this is all done in the early 70s. So we're not a stranger to China, and as a result, being, as the Chinese would refer to us as, an old friend, we continued to be given a favored position in terms of the supply chain, both of feathers and also of gray goods, the cotton goods from Southeast Asia. As far as logistics are concerned, we anticipate becoming much more a worldwide company. We are anticipating not only production in China, we're also looking at Canada, and we also have plans for Western Europe, where again, our product currently is in use, but not in the sense that we can, that we've done in the United States in terms of our design and technology.
The success of any company that requires a supply of raw materials to maintain its profitability and continued growth depends on the efficiency of its logistics and supply chain activities. Managing these activities and delivering products to customers in a way that meets their needs is an essential factor for a winning marketing strategy. Remember, the down-filled sofa that you buy tomorrow might have had its beginnings with this little duck in China.